Hey, welcome to another unscripted and unedited live video with Taiwo Balogun. And today I want to quickly answer a few questions based on the series that I started like 2 or 3 weeks ago, the Nigeria Wealth Shift. And already we are on the 2.0. And I've read so many comments, reactions, also consulting for some people, and I realized that there is need to continue with the Nigeria Wealth Shift series. That is what gave birth to the 2.0. That is where we are at the moment. At the beginning, a lot of people were thinking maybe this is political in nature. No, like I said in my previous video, that I am non-partisan and I just believe in, good leadership and those that are ready to move this nation forward. And also, I also want us to look at very important something today. I told you this is on a detailed and unscripted live video with Taiwo Balogun, and I just want to throw light to some of the things that I've been sharing for the past 3 weeks. And because I can see that a lot of people are pouring out their heart, and I'm super excited reading some of your comments, although I cannot respond to almost all because they are too overwhelming. And at times I have to read them myself. At times I assign it to my social media manager to respond. But most of the times when I see critical comments or questions like that, I just want to respond. And that's why you see me, I dedicate some time of the day to respond to some comments, some thoughtful comments. So, and I was able to pick 3 comments, like questions from yesterday's post that I posted. And I think yesterday's topic was the biggest funding mistake. The biggest funding mistake that entrepreneurs that we make when we are looking for business capital. It's a big issue, and I think there's need for us to address this. And one of the questions that I saw that I'd like to respond to is from Sonny Muhammad. Sonny Muhammad, I don't know where you are connected from or where you are chatting from, but I saw your comment. You said, "Sir, we do business traditionally, and our fathers did. We do not know the modern business skills like business registration, record transaction, and comprehensive business plan. As a professional business coach, is it something that you can teach our people steps by steps? I hope you can help us." Absolutely, I can. And I'll be glad to help your people if we reach an agreement. I will be super excited to help as many as I can. And you see, the fact that you do business traditionally does not make you a failure, but there is need for you to improve on whatever you are doing. I tell people, we have 2 types of sector. We have the formal, informal sector and the formal sector. Every business in life is categorized into that 2 sectors, the informal sector and the formal sector. Now, the informal sectors are the petty traders, those that do business traditionally, like Sani Muhammad said, that, some of our business owners or traders out there, they don't go to school, but they know what they are doing. They are good in what they do. I was telling my children the last week, I said, see, there is a market close to us. I said, do you know how much they make in that market on a daily basis? And most of those that operate that market are operating in informal sector. And that is why when the First Lady mentioned something about how she is donating money for a group of people in that sector, the informal sector, a lot of people misunderstood her by saying she's asking us to be selling kuli, akara business and the likes. Now, that I am not defending her in this context. I'm only telling you that, see, that sector worth trillions of naira is a multi-trillion naira sector, the informal sector. How do you now structure your business from informal to formal sector. I think that is one of the things that our government are not doing. We need a lot of education, a lot of awareness in that area on how we can, help those in the informal sector to, gradually transit to formal sector. And it takes like 4 to 5 steps. Number one, yes, traditionally you've been doing your business like your fathers did. But see, the modern business skills, like you said, like the business structure, business registration is needed. Because see, let me tell you, if you don't do the needful, there are times you might not be able to scale that business. There's what we call business scaling, that you want to scale the business. Maybe you are doing a turnover of 10 million in a year doing your business traditionally, and you've gained trust to the extent that you've gained experience and trust to the extent that you can scale the business to 100 million. Now, if you don't structure the business, it will be difficult to scale that business, because those that will give you the connection, the contact, the money, the capital that you need to scale that business would not want to, because the business is being done traditionally and it is not structured. So that is why you need structure. To structure your business, you need to begin to look at how to transit from informal sector to formal sector gradually by incorporating your business. One of the first steps of moving from informal to formal sector is to incorporate that business. And in incorporating that business, you need to understand one thing, and that is the fact that you need to put structure in place. When I say structure, I'm not talking about buildings. I'm talking about, okay, who is going to be the board? Who is going to be on the board of our directors? Who will be our chairperson? Who will be the company secretary? Then who will be the management team? You don't need too many people to start if you are transiting from traditional way of doing business to this modern business day or modern way of doing business, where you are putting structure in place. You can have, like, let's say 2-3 people for a start. You understand? You know that, okay, our fathers and my mom and my dad started this business and we want to take this business forward. How do we do it? Let's register it. Let us incorporate it as limited liability company, LLC, limited liability company. By the time you do that, you begin to put your books in place, your transaction, your record keeping, and then, Sunny mentioned comprehensive business plan. You don't need comprehensive business plan for a start. You know what you're doing. Just put it in perspective. Arrange it like what we call feasibility study or report. Okay, feasibility report. On your feasibility report, there's the first section there is executive summary. The summary of the business that you do. So, like I said, yes, I can consult for you. I can teach your people step by step if you can afford me anyway, but we can talk off the camera. So that is for Sunny Muhammad, sorry. Then for Obi, there's Obi Diamond. Obi Diamond also dropped a comment that I feel I should respond to. Now, Obi Diamond said something very important. He says, what about us that has already built our customer and suppliers base? Have done everything that you have highlighted here, but don't have the capital to start. Then it means you have not built customer and suppliers base. If you have really done that, there's what we call invoice financing. There's what we call even customer or suppliers financing. You can get funding from your trusted customers and suppliers. Yeah, if you have built a business and you've built trust, they can definitely, they can support you, they can give you working capital. In fact, they might not give you working capital, they can give you goods or products that you can sell, take your profit, and you repay them. That is where trust is very, very important in every business. And I think one of these days I'm going to talk about the trust economy. This is one of the areas where a lot of business owners are finding it difficult to get partners, investors, and funding for their business. It is becoming a topical issue now in Nigeria that people don't really trust. We don't really trust ourselves. When you want to get that capital, you behave as if you are an angel. You try to package yourself, you make yourself this, that, you promise heaven and earth. And when the money is given to you, you become something else. And this is affecting a lot of things that we need to begin to address. So if truly you've built your customer and suppliers base, I don't know the kind of business you're doing, they can give you money. They can fund that business. If it is production, like, okay, for example, a case study, you have, maybe you are into spices production and you have done your samples. You have the sample of the product and is very, very good. You've tested it. It is, you have your own market from that space. Then what you will do is, you can say, okay, we need distributors, but the distributors, you pay 50 or 60% or 70%, then we'll produce, we'll give it to you, you sell, you fund us, you refund, you balance us. That's an arrangement that is possible. You see, there are different ways to go about business capital, but you just need to know which of the capitals that you need, because there are different types of capital. We have the working startup capital. And that is what a lot of people refer to when they say they need capital. Now, when you are looking for startup capital, you see your equity matters a lot, because now they've shown, I read something in Punch today that a lot of VC venture capitalists are running away from Nigeria, that the trend dropped recently because a lot of them are bankrupt. They are bankrupt because when they fund a startup, the startup founders will just, after some months, declare that they are bankrupt, and they would just travel abroad, go and buy home in abroad, and begin to live large and declare bankruptcy. And the VCs won't be able to do anything. You know what they are now doing? They are doing debt financing. Debt financing means we are giving you a loan. It's a debt you have to pay based on our agreement. So whatever happens, you are paying this debt, because it is debt financing. It is not venture capitalist funding. So there are a lot of things in this industry that we need to know, So I just deem it fit that, okay, we know a lot of things. I'm a business consultant, a business coach, and, an opportunity analyst, and I can see some of these things, and I think it is the right time I begin to share some of this knowledge with our people. Yes, they are valuable knowledge, very expensive for me to acquire, both in higher institution and even in business school. But however, we got to help our people. That is what informed the Nigeria Wealth Shift series that I am doing at the moment. Then the third question or comment that I'd like to respond to is by Idowu David Oluwole. Idowu David Oluwole says, true message, but to build structure need capital, and most investors don't wish to help beginners. That's not true. I'm coming to that. To start a business in Nigeria today is terrible due to increment of raw materials. Very, very, you are very, very correct on that, because of high inflation rate. The inflation rate is on the high side. So he says raw materials every day, and it takes the grace of God to stand. Absolutely, because business is spiritual in nature. Renting a shop, office, etc. are killing, which are part of structure capital needed for. Now, it is not every business that need shop or office, but you need a place to operate. Now, and that is why you need to understand something. When you are building a business, this is one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't take into consideration. When we were in secondary school, we were taught localization of industry. Your location matters. The nature of your business matters. The fact that, yes, it's a startup doesn't mean that a lot of investors does not want to help beginners. Don't use the word beginners, use startups. Now, and there are a lot of startups that are out there that have proven, to be reliable, trustworthy, and they are funding them. And you see, I don't want us to rely on government interventions and funding and the likes, but I want you to to be vigilant. Open your eyes and see, not look. There's a difference between looking and seeing. And see deeply. Some of these programs that the FG and federal government are putting out there, and see where you can begin to structure your business to fit in. Because most of the times we don't structure our business and we want to go for some of these programs or some of these intervention funds, like the ones that Tony Elumelu does. A lot of them are out there. And see, yes, there's inflation, but if you want to start a business, your equity matters in that business. What is your stake? What are you bringing to the table? What have you invested? Let me tell you one of the secrets of investors. This is how they think. If they see that you have a good idea or a good business opportunity, because there's a difference between business idea and business opportunity. When they see that you have good business opportunity and you've done all your homework, but you have not invested your hard-earned money in that business opportunity, they'll be skeptical to give you money. Take that to bank. Take that to, this is $1 million secret I'm sharing with you. They will not want to invest in it because you don't have a stake. You don't have a stake. So these are some of the things that a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs, startups are, the mistakes that they are making, and they think, oh, they don't want to fund us. And maybe so in subsequent videos, I'll be sharing with you different ways to get funding for your business. Different ways. I will be sharing that with you. Practical ways. I'm not talking about theory. Things that I've done, that I'm doing for some of my coaching clients, and also people that I consult for, business owners that I consult for. Practical ways to raise money. But let me leave you with this today. Please, as you build your business, begin to build trust so that people can approach you and say, oh, I want to do business with you. I want to invest in what you're doing. Please build trust, and that will help you to build your business. So on this note, as I sign out, I want to appreciate everyone on Facebook. The attention has been very, very, amazing. The comments, the engagement. I want to say thank you for engaging with my content. It gives me that assurance that yes, what I'm doing is impacting lives. Recently, before I came up to this live, I saw a comment from someone, two people, the comment is long anyway. Two people, there was one that says, oh, that before, okay, I think I can quickly read that. Michael Muiwa says, having the opportunity to read this today came at the right time for me. For a long time, I blamed the people I sent my business proposals to, expecting loans or support to help me build my entrepreneurial journey. There was even someone I respected deeply who I quietly held responsible for not believing in me. But after reading this content, I realized something important. The problem was not necessarily that people refused to support me. I simply wasn't ready for business. I hadn't built a business that was truly worth of funding. Look at that. This has changed my perspective completely. Instead of asking who will fund my business, I will now focus on building a business with validated demand, solid structures or systems, clear numbers, yes, and real evidence of growth. Thank you for this timely lesson. It has given me a mindset shift I won't forget. Thank you, Michael Muiwa. Yes, that is it. That is just the fact. Michael Muiwa just hit it on the head. You see, a lot of people don't know all these things. Some of these things took us time to learn, It took us time to understand. Yes. So please, build something that is worth investing in. Build something that is worth investing in. Build something that people will want to be part of, be proud to be part of your business. And as you do so, I pray that God will help you. So on this note, see you some other time on the series of the Nigeria Wealth Shift series with Taiwo Balogun. Do have a, is it afternoon? Still afternoon. Yes. Do have a good afternoon, and God bless you.